times the origins. What would be your source?
The fact that social media gives
your source. That's what I'm saying. But you weight it. I was talking about the information that comes, especially in an emergency and such. I would, for me, for example, be concerned about what happened in Elwak, because that in and of itself could be a signal of a new thing that is actually beginning, or was it an opportunistic attack that actually realized that the country is gripped with something else, and therefore a cell somewhere quickly mobilized and went out to do whatever they did. But be that as it is, let's not really put the nation in paralysis with a lot of analysis here, including the opinion that CSS cannot do it, talking about the president and I. So whom should they be talking about? Should they be talking about the opposition and themselves? A lot of these CSS, you actually see them making statements in their names. You are looking at the legal documents and instruments they are putting out there. So this simple decision that came late at a point where Mashogu felt that he had sufficient data to make a decision, and he made the call. Once he made that particular call, for me, it doesn't matter at what point it was done, because it was about life. So long as it's about life, and especially for a vulnerable group of society, I really wouldn't get into, look at Mashogu's age. He's a professional, he's a politician who's been there. To really think that Mashogu cannot on his own sit down and realize that as much as I had made this particular decision to close a few schools, but generally we are not in control of the weather. Generally we are not in control of how this thing is actually playing out. So he calls back. For me, that's enough. And I will say this repeatedly. The little inconvenience is regretted, but that cannot trump the safety concerns that are actually being put in place. Mm-hmm. Talking about, there's this obsession about regime bashing. Everybody else, people think that journalism is regime bashing. People think that being an active citizen is you bash a regime.
Asking questions about the actions.
There are even politicians.
Especially when it comes to the safety of human lives.
There are even politicians.
We shouldn't ask questions. That is regime bashing.
I'm talking about, there are even politicians who think that oversight is regime bashing. So even when they make a decision that is critical, and by the way, running a government is quite
You did not answer
difficult.
the question.
I'm getting to it.
Questions on the administration's actions when it
actually
comes to
asking.
Safety
this is not a question that is being asked.
Is it regime bashing?
This is not a question that is being asked. This is a spin. This is a spin. The question was on the timing. None other than the CS himself responded to it. But we are going around spinning this. It's no longer a question. It is a spin. We are now bringing in. We are now even bringing in an opinion. We are now bringing in opinions.
This is something totally
gossip. I'm talking about, totally but you used it to buttress your point and your question.
And I will continue with this discussion.
But you brought that. You cited that in a way to buttress the conversation you had.
The fact of the matter is that the response by the cabinet secretary is only to validate his postponement of the reopening. The delay in issuing the communication has yet to be explained till now.
And I have actually explained to you. You probably just didn't listen. I said this. There is a CS or as a decision maker, wherever you are, once you are in receipt of sufficient data to make a decision, at whatever hour you make that call, especially if it's a critical issue, if it's an emergency, you make that call. And the CS has done that.
Let's leave that there.